She sat quietly, minding her business, until a racist cop spilled coffee on her out of spite. What he didn't know, the silent woman he tried to humiliate had raised one of the most powerful men in the country, and the world was about to find out. Sometimes, silence speaks louder than outrage. In a small-town diner, one racist officer thought he could get away with humiliating a quiet black woman. But what he didn't know was, her silence was not weakness, it was power. And when the truth about who she was came out, his entire world began to crumble. It was a chilly Monday morning at a small-town diner in Georgia. Locals filled the booths, murmuring over mugs of coffee and buttered toast. At a corner table, a well-dressed black woman sat quietly, sipping her tea and reading from a worn leather journal. Her name was Miss Evelyn. She was calm, poised, and kept mostly to herself. No phone, no fuss, just a peaceful presence in the noisy world around her. But peace was about to be shattered. At 8:47 a.m., the front door swung open. In walked Officer Darren Mills, known in the community for his aggressive policing and short temper, a man who'd let his badge inflate his ego. With his chest puffed out and sunglasses still on indoors, he scanned the room like he owned it. He ordered a coffee to go and leaned against the counter, loudly talking about people who don't belong and lazy freeloaders who drain the system. Though he didn't say it outright, the tone and glances made it obvious who his words were aimed at. Miss Evelyn didn't respond. She turned another page in her journal and continued sipping her tea. But her silence seemed to infuriate him. As the waitress handed him his coffee, Officer Mills turned abruptly, pretending to lose his balance, and spilled the entire hot cup of coffee down Miss Evelyn's coat and lap. Gasps echoed through the diner. A moment of stunned silence followed. Evelyn flinched but didn't scream. She calmly stood up, wiped her coat with a napkin, and looked Officer Mills in the eyes. Still, she said nothing. The officer smirked. "You should watch where you're sittin'," he said smugly. "Some folks don't know their place anymore." Miss Evelyn didn't retaliate. She didn't yell or cry. She simply picked up her coat, tucked her journal into her bag, and left the diner without a word. But the story didn't end there. One of the other patrons at the diner, a young woman named Clara, had filmed the entire encounter. Disgusted by what she witnessed, she uploaded the video to social media with the caption, "This is our local law enforcement. This is how they treat our community." The video went viral in less than 24 hours. People across the country were outraged. But it wasn't until a comment appeared under the video that things truly exploded. It read, "That's my mother. She raised me better than to stoop to men like him. And trust me, she's not done." It was posted from a verified account belonging to none other than Senator Elijah Brooks, one of the most respected black leaders in the country. The internet erupted. News channels picked up the story. Hashtags like #JusticeForEvelyn and #CoffeeAndConsequences trended for days. Within hours, media vans surrounded the diner. Reporters dug into Officer Mills's past, and what they found wasn't pretty. Multiple complaints of racial profiling, excessive force, and verbal abuse had been buried by the department for years. But now, there was no more hiding. Senator Brooks held a press conference. He didn't yell or make threats. He simply said, "My mother taught me dignity and restraint. But she also taught me to stand up when enough is enough. We're pursuing legal action, and we will not be silent." By the end of the week, Officer Mills was placed on administrative leave. A formal investigation was opened, and calls for police reform in the town gained national attention. The diner owner publicly apologized and offered to name the corner table after Miss Evelyn, but she declined. Instead, Miss Evelyn issued one simple statement: "We don't raise our voices to be heard. We raise our children to do it for us. And in that quiet strength, she spoke louder than any shout ever could. Officer Mills thought he poured coffee on just another face in the crowd. But what he spilled that day was far more dangerous: his career, his reputation, and the illusion of impunity. Because when a mother raises a man of true power and integrity, even silence becomes unstoppable. Sometimes you don't need to fight back. You just need to let the world see who you are.